Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
Sport greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. Cecilia, thank God it's Friday and we're getting the weekend of sporting activities.
Yes, so many sporting activities with Tottenham and of course Arsenal in action. Ooh. That's another North London derby we will all be anticipating on Sunday. I know Austin is jumping on the beat for that. But this is what the show looks like tonight. We'll be talking chess. Yes, chess is going to get attention because the National Chess Championship in Nigeria will be starting in October 2nd precisely. We'll be talking about that because the technical director will join us in the studio to tell us more what's all about, what's different from what they've been having in previous years. Also, we'll talk about para table tennis. Yes, Nigerian athletes, they pick a ticket now. 14 tickets were up for grabs in Egypt, Giza precisely. You have Nigerian athletes picking 9 out of 14. Egypt had to take the other ones as a host nation. They had to collect the tickets that were left for Paris 2024 games. Also, we'll touch down on the Premier League. Yes, you know the big games for this weekend. Manchester United playing against Burnley on Saturday. They'll be able to bounce back from what they've been having. 5 games, 6 points, not the way they wanted to start the season. Also, we'll talk about, yes, what are we talking about? Again, National Youth Games, the screening exercises, of course. You remember when we told you on Tuesday when the LOC chairperson talked about the fact that they will be having screening all through. It's already started today and it was a successful one. So we'll be looking forward to the opening ceremony of the National Youth Games taking place in Asaba, Delta State. But Austin, first of all, we're starting up with chess. Yes, we're starting off with chess because we have right here Res Ogunanke, who is the technical director of the Nigeria Chess Federation. He's right here in the studio joining us to talk about what the National Chess Championship for this year is all about, expectations and everything. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and good evening to our viewers. First of all, point of correction, I'm the tournament director for Orchid Lekki Chess Club.
Okay.
So let my bosses have my neck.
All right, thank you for that.
For the tournament. Yeah, so we're here again, the 3rd edition of a splendid partnership between the Federation and our chess club. We're having the top players play in the invitational section to determine the national champion and the national women champion of Nigeria. And I thank Channels for all the support that we've also gotten from you.
Yeah, always there when it comes to sports. Number one in Nigeria, and of course. Austin, of course, is in London. We'll have some questions to ask. But let me start it up with this. I mean, this is another edition of this championship. What is different? What are we expecting from this particular edition?
The field is more competitive. It's been expanded from 20 players to 24.
Okay.
Because we
just have 4 added players to that.
Yes, 2 to each category, the open category and the women category. And then we also have the usual, the masters, the opens, and the junior sections. And this year, the junior sections, a number of Lagos State schools are participating. And then the social project Chess in Slums is also going to be there. So
that's nice.
We're trying to get better every year,
make
it more inclusive, make it more competitive. So this year, we hope you'll be there.
Of course, Channels Television is partnering too. You have to teach me that. Austin, I guess you have some questions for Res. He's in the studio, technical director of Orchid Lekki Chess Club.
Sporting greetings, Rex, and I must say well done to the Orchid Lekki Chess Club. I think just before COVID, we were talking about what you guys were doing, and I'm super duper excited that you guys have taken it a step further to produce champions for the national championship and also partner with Channels TV. Rex, our viewers would like to know, how do you get to pick participants at this championship?
Okay, so there are 2 sections. The invitational is based on certain criteria, like your rating, which is your strength of play, and some other championships you may have won, like the zonal championships. So there's a qualifying event that leads up to it. But then there's the open category where anybody can register. The details on our website, and you just visit the site, and then you fill the form, and you're welcome to the venue.
That's right. And, each time I talk about chess, a major question I get is, Austin, it's not competitive. What's it about chess? this championship that you guys are hosting, how competitive will it be?
Very, very competitive. This year we have a number of juniors who will be competing for the top honors of being the national champion. It wasn't like that the previous year, so it shows that the younger ones are actually stepping up. For those who are conversant with chess, around the world you have the Indian kids who are really doing well from ages 13, 14, 15. And generally the future of the game is based on the people who are coming, the younger generation. So we're very, very happy with the quantity of, with the number of junior players that will be playing. In the female category, we have under 10, under 12 playing with adults. And I mean, these girls can really play.
That's the open one.
That's the invitational.
Okay.
Where you're picking the top players in the country, and you have a 10-year-old, you have a 12-year-old playing. I don't even play them.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. Because you said invitational, so you're looking at top players across the country. You're not grouping them according to age. That's where you have the invitational, which is different from the open, where everybody can take part. Now, those playing in the invitational will be different from those that's playing the open. Okay. Then there's the one you call Blitz tournament. That's what? Can you explain more?
Blitz is with respect to the time control.
Okay.
Generally, chess is a game that helps you think. So we have longer time controls, 2 hours, 3 hours. But Blitz is like the shortened version. For those who know cricket, there's cricket T20 where you play the short exactly.
Form. Okay.
So that's what we do, and then it's a shorter game, a lot more fun. For those who are just learning.
Okay, people like
you also get the same kind of exhilaration that you get from playing a longer game. You also think. They're just reducing everything to snap decisions.
Okay.
So that's the Blitz.
Okay, and then you have that elite invitational that you talked about section.
Yes.
Where you have, you mentioned elite, and of course it's going to be invitational. That means the federation will be the one to actually pick athletes that will take part in this one. And then you're having 10-year-old, maybe you can even have masters taking part. Why do you have to do that? Why if it's elite, because a 9-year-old elite, why the grouping like that?
In chess, there's something called a rating system.
Okay.
That takes into account, it's a statistical measure of your strength with the number of games you have played, how you have performed. So that makes up a list that comes out every month. The world body releases a list, just like tennis where you have the top seeds. So based on that list, and then some other events we tagged as qualifying events. For example, zonal tournaments across the 6 zones. The winners of those, and then those that the top 5 players in the country, based on rating, those are categorized as the elite in this calendar year.
Okay.
So next year, someone else may win the, let's say, South-South zonals. In that year, he will be the elite.
No matter how old the person is.
No matter how old the person is.
That's quite interesting because, in tennis, as you mentioned, ranking, you have the junior, you have junior Wimbledon, junior US Open. Those athletes don't play with the big boys. But here, you have,
they're still juniors. But they're allowed to play.
It's
the
like
elite football. Level. Let's say somebody is playing on the 17.
Do you guys think it's really a level playing ground for these 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds that you just talked about?
It's not a level playing ground for the older players.
Okay.
Because they're actually struggling sometimes against these younger boys, and it's it's encouraging. Chess is actually developing. Hitherto, you didn't have this kind of younger players play. So, like I said, when you see things like this, there's a future. We're actually getting better, and we need more people to come in. The wonderful work Channels is doing with us is very heartwarming. And we need more people to come in, more corporate bodies to come in, support this game. Let it grow. I mentioned that Lagos was sending some schools. It's also reaching out to them. The social project, Chess in Slums, is also sending people, juniors. So it's also reaching out to them. This year, we have a veterans category prize, which means we're not just looking at the young people, we're looking at the middle age and the older people. And chess helps the mental, it helps you with emotional resilience. It helps fight dementia and keeps you active. So everybody is welcome. Even those in the UK that want to come back and play.
Austin,
that's an
invitation.
I got a free pass, Rex. I got it. I tried to compete the last time. I covered the championship, but it's okay. That's an open invitation. I'll take it. Rex, you guys have been hosting this on behalf of the Nigerian Chess Federation in the last 3 years. And you confidently say this championship have the quality to develop chess in Nigeria?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We've been very much encouraged by comments from players, fellow organizers, people from other sports, and even corporate bodies that are now getting involved. It's very, very encouraging. And we really, I mean, it's a cliche to say it can only get better, but in this instance, it can actually only get better. Because the structures are there, a lot more organizers are seeing the benefits of staging a world-class event. For example, the use of digital boards is becoming prevalent in Nigeria, where you make your move, is seen on the screen, and is broadcast on the various platforms across the world. So yes, it is actually getting better. And we hope, and really, really hope, that we'll produce an African champion and a world champion very soon.
That's what we'll be hoping for, you know. And each time I get a chance to talk about chess, I commend you guys for the sort of work you do. I know chess is doing so well at the schools level. What are some of the things you think we can do more to develop chess in Nigeria?
Well, more exposure. I mean, football is in a class of its own. That's like a national, it's a national religion. But while we're developing physical sports, mental sports are also very, very important. So, I mean, the more people get involved in it, the more exposure it has, the more support we get from people, the more world-class events we're able to hold. That will actually help the game develop.
Interesting. I mean, here we learned that the winners will definitely represent Nigeria at the African Chess Championship. Now, that's a bigger one, and we're looking at, and that's also open, right? And now, if you have, for instance, a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old winning, I mean, they're going to...
Yeah, they'll be there.
Okay.
It's about strength of play. I mean, there's no age.
There's no age at all.
And the good thing is, if that child goes for the African Championship, he can still represent us at the
youth level. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay, that's something that is really open, because I love the process you guys had to go through, the selection processes and bringing all these elite athletes and everything, everyone coming together. And you mentioned that hopefully we can produce a world champion someday. What are the things you guys are putting in place to ensure that can happen? Because we know chess obviously is not a cheap sport.
It is.
It really? Okay, so tell me about it.
About 7,000 naira get a board, a decent board, a tournament board. And then the thing about chess now in Nigeria is we're really a family.
Okay.
So after the games, you see us play against ourselves and then I lose, but the next minute we're having a chat, we're analyzing the games. So for those who want, so those who want to get involved, we're willing to help each other develop, help each other grow. Any player that goes out of the country to represent us on our, because there's a WhatsApp group and all these other groups, you hear the words of encouragement that people are giving to him. You don't think about, this was my opponent, I want him to lose. So the support structure is there on the individual level. To make it grow, that's up to the federation and partner associations. There are state level associations and then chess clubs like ours. While those are handling the administrative stuff, it has to run on money.
Yes.
We also call on corporate bodies, CSR, you know, however you want to do it, they want to do it. We need the support, because we need to get trainers. People need to go for outside tournaments, exposure, and you know, chess outside the country is professional to an extent. You can actually make a living off it. We're just tilting towards that in Nigeria. So if there's more money in it, more support, people can actually make a decent living by just being sports chess players. So all those things put together, piece by piece, move by move, it will actually develop the sport.
Interesting. And I'm also happy that it's actually part of the sport for the National Youth Games, which is also a good one for those that will be participating. Well, any other thing you want to tell us before we let you go? Yeah.
Yes.
What we're expecting, and numbers of athletes coming
Everybody should come.
Okay. All right.
It's open. Everybody should come. If you want to register, visit the website, olchessclub.com. If you need to make a phone call, to call somebody to speak with, 080-9878-0078. That's my number. So I'm not. Just reach out to us, and we'll only be too happy to have you. Come and play. Come and watch. Come and support. Anyway, anyhow you want to.
Yeah, you can also send us an email at sporttonight@channelstv.com. Of course, we should be able to, send it across to the tournament director, Rex Ogunake. Austin, you've got something for him before we sign him out finally? Okay.
I think Rex has done a good job. He has given us a good, background to the competition. We'll start counting down to October the 2nd till the 9th for the 3rd edition of the National Chess Championship. Maybe Rex wants to just, tell us some of the things they are doing behind the scenes as we get ready for October the 2nd.
Behind the scenes, one of them is I'm right here speaking about the event. And then there's also going to be a media campaign. And of course, putting together any event is never easy, let alone a decent one. So a lot of work is going on. I'm using this to say thank you to all those volunteers, those who have supported, those who are watching right now. I know the chess community is watching and they're probably saying, yeah, tell them about chess, let them bring money. So, so, a lot is going on. And I thank the Federation as well for the support, for the partnership, and the willingness to take this step. It was a novel idea, and I believe it's been a mutually beneficial arrangement. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Rex, for your time on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much for joining us.
People can't see, but you have lovely shoes.
Thank you. All right, we will be talking about the National Youth Games. Let's take a listen to Tonobok Okowa, who is the chairman of the local organizing committee of the National Youth Games, talking ahead of the opening ceremony, which is tomorrow, and also screening exercise coming on. And after that, we'll be having Ikena Chikoindu joining us on the program.
We've been going to other youth games at Ilori, and it's not been like this. So far, I'm happy with the turnout. Every state, the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, they're all here. So that goes to show that people are happy to come to Delta State, and they're all welcomed. We are prepared. The facilities are ready, and we are taking the accommodation stage by stage as they come. Maybe one or two little problems, but we are solving them. You can't do without having one little hitch or another, but we are ready. The opening ceremony definitely is going to be glamorous. I'm just trying to compare with what we are used to in the past when it comes to youth game. That's not what you are going to see tomorrow. You are going to see a lot of crowd. You are going to see the crowd. It's not going to be like it used to be. A lot of people will be in the stadium. The minister will be there. Our governor will be there. So a lot of activities, because there will be some musicians that will perform. We have Boy Spice is going to perform. We also have Mehdi, another good musician, will also perform. At the closing ceremony, we have Kaid and Kula Lane will also perform. So a lot of activities. It's going to be a fun fair, and I think people will be happy with what they will see. Everybody should come and enjoy themselves. We're a bit security conscious, so nobody should be scared about security, but still be careful, because you can never tell, And let them just come and enjoy themselves. We're happy to welcome them to Delta State.
All right, let's get into the business of the National Youth Games. Opening ceremony, of course, is tomorrow. You heard it from the chairman of the local organizing committee, who happens to be the commissioner for sports of Delta State, and also he's the president, Athletics Federation of Nigeria. How do you handle that? Ikena Chikoindu is right here in the studio. It's great to have you join us.
Thank you. It's another Friday, and starting on a good note and on an impressive note of the youth games starting up tomorrow. Very, very impressed. I've heard what the commissioner said, or should I say the president of the
LOC? Yeah.
So
Okay.
they are all already in readiness for the tomorrow's game, and I think it's impressive. I think our focus should be on it, because that's where we are going to get the next Tobi Amuso and the next other athletes, to represent Nigeria in the future. So it starts from tomorrow.
Austin, I mean, there's a lot that actually went down today. The screening that he talked about on Tuesday, it happened today. Screening exercise, we could see kids. I mean, we didn't see adults there. I mean, from the pictures we saw, the correspondent they also said brought to us the Vivian. I mean, from the pictures we saw, yes, they're putting finishing touches to the stadium. Everything is right now. These are the kids that will be taking part. So screening took place today. Lots of athletes coming around to actually get screened for the game. So at the end of the day, you're not going to be maybe no tolerance for elite athletes jumping into it, and then you also have athletes older than their age winning medals, and you're like, oh, this is a university student or something. I mean, that's what they're trying to do here, to see all the athletes are coming out for that screening. 4,500 athletes that we learned are going to be taking part in this 7th edition of the National Youth Games.
I like the fact that they're making efforts to, to screen, but then again, how effective is the screening, and what are we getting out of it? Are they doing it properly? I hear one time that they were going to make use of the national identity number, NIN.
Yeah.
How did that go? Was it effective? We should be really systematic with this thing, because with the National Youth Games, we have a rare opportunity of having a peep into the future of sports in Nigeria. So if they are really just looking at those pictures, if I'm to go by the standards we use at the Channels International Kids Cup, I've already screened 3 persons with my eyes all the way from London. So I don't know what the criteria is for screening at the 7th National Youth Games, but it's commendable that they're actually putting screening into the conversation, and I just want them to do it with integrity, with transparency, eliminate any form of bias, and just let's try to have a level playing ground at the National Youth Games. We're going to be having 32 sports, 35 states competing. I guess Zamfara is absent. I don't know if that will change, just before action will commence. But I like that we're having various sports at this National Youth Games. Particularly sports, Cecilia and Ikena, that we don't really talk about at the elite level. So if we exhibit those sports now, and then take it a step further to the National Sports Festival, and then give these states a mandate that, look, particularly states that we do well in sports that we don't really talk about. I see shooting in there. There's trado sports. There's deaf athletics. There's para athletics. There is the fives. There's squash. There is karate. There is baseball and softball. We've got darts, cricket. These are important sports. So when they go back, give the states mandates to continue, to develop those sports. I think that's when we will be making some level of progress with sports development in Nigeria. Don't just do it for the sake of competition, and then when they go back, we pull the curtains down, clean the bed, and then we go to sleep. No, it's continuous, particularly with this young person. So that's all I have to say with the National Youth Games, and I hope that we're going to have a fantastic, competition at the 7th edition.
Yeah, interestingly, there's also golf. I mean, when I saw that, big. I mean, this is really big. I mean, how do you get them to come? We know how expensive golf is, but you also have golf there. You mentioned hockey. Gymnastics, canoe is also part of the sport. Cricket, as you mentioned. Now, something that the Cricket Federation have actually done is the fact that the 13 participating states, they actually had equipment for them, which were distributed across board. So that's another way Federation can also, help states to build their own athletes. So Cricket Federation is doing that. I think they said they have about 30 junior batting gloves. You have 10 junior pads, 4 junior wicket keepers, 30 youth bats, and 40 youth gloves. That's what they're doing. So, I mean, 18 packs of the balls. We ensure that yes, each of these states competing, they will have it. And cricket, about 3 formats: the 1-day, 15 overs, the T20, and also the 6-a-side.
Yeah.
That's what they intend to do with
I don't
youth
do the
games.
T20 or I don't do the 3.
That's the 3 formats: the 1-day, the 50 overs, and the T20. So that's what they intend to do across, and that's why they are supplying those equipment, which is another way for federation to support them.
We've said it in the country. I think it's surprising that we don't play cricket as a former British colony, because
we do play cricket.
No, I know. I mean,
it's not as big.
It's not as big as it is in South Africa, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and the rest of them. We are still trying to. I think we used to, because when we were in secondary school, we learned a bit about it. But I think it's being revived now. So like Austin is saying, I think the onus is on the federations to keep track on these states to see if they are actually following up on, because you can't just, because of this game, you supply them with this and they go back and nothing happens. So I think the federations have to, this is one of it should be like the KPI to ensure that these things are followed up. Now, another thing I would like to suggest on the table is, we are playing softball, we are playing baseball. This is not traditional sports in Nigeria. Can you have an affiliation with where these games are being played, especially in the States of America, in North America? Can you have affiliation with them so that these kids can have probably a what's it called, a scholarship? So if you find something attractive playing such game, and also using their facilities to train them for the future. Who knows, we might go to the Olympics and become better in some of these sports. I think it's a good development. I think there are, aside from the normal football, basketball we play, we can delve into other things,
other sports.
See what we can do from
that's why I love it that they have 35 events for these youth games. Other countries, except Zamfara, that we don't know if they're still coming. But let's leave these youth games, of course, where you grow them from the very grassroots, and talk about para table tennis. Now, this is huge for Nigeria. When the Nigerian wrestlers went to the World Championship, yes, they say an opportunity to compete again in March next year for the Olympics. But right now, you have about 14 tickets available at the ITTF African Para Table Tennis Championship taking place in Egypt. And of course, Nigeria got 9 out of 14 that was up for grab. Now, Faith Obazoi is one of them. Abiola Adeshope also part of it. You have Bolawa Akingbe Misili also taking part. She also got a ticket to the Olympics. Ishao Ogunkole, that's the story we're going to tell later on the program. He also got the ticket. 2019, he couldn't get that for himself, but this year he decided to get it, and of course he was able to get it ahead of the Egyptian that he played with. Kayode Alabi also getting the ticket. Ifechukwundi Ikpoyin also getting the ticket. Now they're actually a couple, both of them married couple. Kayode and Ifechukwundi, both married couple, got a ticket to participate at the Paris Games. Olufemi Alabi also getting the ticket. Victor Farinloye also getting the ticket. Of course, you have Kehinde Lawal. These are the athletes who got the ticket to the Olympics. Now, this is a sweet story, Austin, especially for the couple. But first, let's just focus on what happened in the final game that happened today, where you have, of course, the big athletes who also got that particular ticket for Nigeria. We're all talking about these athletes. Isao Ogunkole, last in 2019, he couldn't get it. He lost it, but then this time around, he knew what he wanted to do. And of course, he was able to pick a ticket to represent Nigeria. He's a Commonwealth Games medalist. He lost the ticket to an Egyptian 2019. That was his debut appearance at the continental level. He was also on the receiving end at the Saudi Arabia Open earlier this year, where he was beaten by Egyptian Ed Salah. But then he decided that this time around, it wasn't going to happen. Austin, he went ahead, and of course, he won his match, and he got a ticket to Paris 2024.
Inspiring story, Cecilia, and that's why I talk about the power of sports to transform lives. Confined to wheelchairs, these guys are unstoppable. I love that story about Isao. You don't quit. As some persons have gone through stuff with life will trail of things that this is sports, telling these guys, look, you can still give life a meaning. And they're doing it with a bat and ball, playing table tennis. And you could tell the joy that Isao was exhibiting. You can tell that he's proud of himself for not giving up. He had to inspire himself. And that's what it's all about right there. I love this story so much, And I always tell people, look, don't just give up in life. if something goes wrong, look inwards. God might have given you a talent to go do something big with sports, you know. And this is our story. It's not just about him qualifying to go to Paris for the Olympics. He has motivated a lot of people. Look at his colleagues, how they appreciate it. See the coaching crew. Somebody somewhere is watching this show and the person is tired about life. Let this story of Esau, you know, motivate you. Let it inspire you. Let it tell you that impossible is nothing, that when you are down, don't stay down, pick yourself back up. You know, this is the story I always try to tell when I want people to understand the power of sports to transform lives. It's not just about these guys coming out there to compete and win or go to major competition. It's the fact that they have chosen to take their destinies into their hands, to say, look, yes, whatever happened has happened, but I can still make life meaningful, you know, participating in sports. You know, some of these guys, when I talk to them, Cecilia, Ikenna, I won't lie, sometimes I get soaked eyes. I remember when I told the story of Anna Babalala, I cried, you know, because she told me how she woke up in the morning and realized that she was paralyzed from the waist to the legs. But wheelchair racing gave her a new life. And these table tennis players, just like, I remember when Bazwaye told me her story, she's been to about 3 Paralympics playing table tennis. You know, same thing with Victor Farinloye. He was at the last Olympics and he has qualified again. They are using their lives to motivate us, to tell us that impossible is nothing. And I always love it. I celebrate them. I'm happy that they went to Egypt, picked 9 tickets. Let her motivate you.
9 tickets. I mean, Ikenna, he just mentioned. You know. Sometimes, Austin, when I always talk about the women, what they're doing so well. But today, I have to praise the men because Nigeria actually dominated the men's singles in this event, picking majority of the ticket. 4 out of the 6 athletes who qualified for their, who are actually making their debut at the Paralympics. So these athletes are not old athletes. So 4 out of 5 is making their debut. So it shows that para-table tennis is growing. You're not having same athletes going over and over again. Outside Olufemi Alabi and of course Victor Farinloye that Austin mentioned, of course, you have Bazwaye also who has been to the Olympics. Most of the other ones are just going to making their debut at the Olympics. So that growth, it's something we're really happy about coming from the Africa Para Championship.
I think in terms of para, I call them superhumans. In terms of para athletes, I think we should do much more. I mean, Nigeria as a sector, I mean, Nigeria as a nation and the government, because for the last 20 years, since we started following them, they have never disappointed. One way or the other. They pick up medals, they go to tournaments. Our powerlifters are one of the best in the whole world. And we have picked 9 tickets to Olympics. That's huge.
It's huge, yes.
It's very, very huge. So I think whatever we are doing, we should do much more. We should give them more budget. We prepare them. And also, local games, also coming back home. What are the events that they should attend? What are the events to prepare them for such tournaments? Probably next one we can pick all the tickets. So it's kudos to them. I'm excited. I've been seeing it on online today. You know, it's been everywhere. People are celebrating them. That's why I got to know that Kayode Alabi and
there's a couple. Yes. That's them right there. I've been waiting for the picture. I mean, this couple qualified for the. Do you know what it means? I mean, it's the first time you're having a couple like this qualifying for the Olympics from Africa, not just Nigeria. So I think this is a great one for them.
We should do much more. I'm telling you, we should do more.
Obviously, we'll do more because this is what is great. I mean, I was looking at what Ogunkole was able to do. Etsala, as I mentioned, I mean, this guy has been to the Paralympics 5 times. I mean, African champion. I mean, he's unbeaten. So for Ogunkole to be able to do this time around is something we should celebrate. So I hope when they're coming back into the country, they'll have a rousing welcome. I mean, let's just go out there and, embrace them to show that, yes, Nigerians are supporting them. And kudos to this couple.
Yeah, they're everywhere. When you go to most stadiums in Nigeria, they are always everywhere. They're everywhere. So I think we should, like I said, I'll repeat it again. We should do much more for them because they have risen above those challenges, life challenges. It's now for us to help them achieve that aim of going to global competitions, even giving them competitions here that can be able to bring something to the table for them. I think it's heartwarming to see them.
It is really, and hopefully they will be well prepared for the Olympics taking place next year. We still have time now for them to really prepare for that. It wasn't just Nigeria and Egypt that were in that competition, though they pick all the tickets available. But yeah, South Africa were also part of it. Kenya also went, Mauritius, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire and Algeria all took part in the 3 days event. But hey, it was Nigeria and Egypt who told everyone that yes, we've come here to pick out the ticket. And of course, they did just that. Okay, let's leave the para-athletes and of course go to England. I'll have to throw this to Austin. Yeah, okay, let's just take a look at the games first, and then Austin will take over from here. Games for this weekend. Starting up with the Saturday's fixtures, where you have Crystal Palace and Fulham. They will be in action. Luton Town and Wolves also in action. Manchester City and Nottingham Forest. And then the team to look forward to. Manchester City is 5 out of 5 for them. They're yet to lose a game this season. Brentford and Everton. Burnley and Manchester United. Burnley only 1 point they picked. I mean, Vincent Kompany is not really having any fun. He will be facing wounded Manchester United on Saturday. And Sunday's fixture starting from 2 p.m. The big one, Arsenal and Tottenham, the North London derby. Yes, we'll delve into this because these two sides, they've won or they're yet to lose, winning 4 games and just 1 draw. Brighton and Bournemouth. Brighton starting having a bright start. Chelsea also not having a good start against Aston Villa. Liverpool and West Ham United. Liverpool also having a good start this season. Sheffield and Newcastle will also be in action. These are the games for Saturday. So Austin, yes. Now over to you on this one. Where are you starting from? You're starting with Manchester United and of course Burnley have won. They haven't won a game. 1 point. I mean, from 4 matches. Not a good one.
Yeah, not a good one. They're winless, in 4 matches. And as you mentioned, yes, just 1 point. But Vincent Kompany, and some fans I've listened to in local media here, they're confident that they can use this match against Manchester United to get their season back on track. Everyone sees Manchester United as a team that they can beat now that they seem to be scattered. So Burnley might just, want to push their luck. I think what Brighton did also was good motivation for the so-called smaller teams. But these days, I don't call Brighton a small team in the EPL because of the things that they've been doing consistently in the last 2 seasons. They sell big players and they still impress. So with Burnley and Vincent Kompany, yes, they might want to use this game to get their season back on track. But United will also want to use this game to tell people that, look, that they are actually that team that's got quality. That's what everything asks you to be saying. And the fans are saying, look, it's time for people to stop the jest that United is a big club. But it's a question that football fans in England are asking. Is everything okay at Manchester United? The board, the players, the coaching crew, are they united? Eric Ten Hag can give us the answer. Let's listen to him.
I don't know if it's a league, but I know the opinion. So I know my place.
So what you're saying, that it's not happening, or this is?
I know my place, and everyone can make suggestions. We are okay with it. So this is my 2nd year, and I know it's not always going only going up. You will have your gaps. And you get stronger from it as long as you stay together, and that's what we are doing. I think dressing room, staff, all the staff, so coaches, medical, bigger staff, everyone is united, and at United you fight. And for the rest, we are preparing Burnley, and there's all our focus, and he will not be in the squad. There's no any easy game, and definitely not against Burnley. We know how intense they play football. I know their approach. I must say, I like the approach from them. The adventure and, as I say, the high intensity and dynamic in their game. So, we have to play our best.
They definitely need to be at their best against Burnley, and he's hoping that they can use that game also to turn their season around. Because if they don't, the media will tear Manchester United apart.
I think the Sancho, the case is on his neck, and also a lot of things that's going on with the team. They are not performing to their ability, and they saw the goalkeeper that was actually doing well to get another. So a lot of things is happening, and they lost the game on 2 games back to back against Brighton and against Bayern Munich. So he has a lot of things on his neck at this moment. And Burnley is coming on from they made a statement that this is one of the games they can actually win, you know, to make a dent on. And if they do that, there will be trouble at Old Trafford. So I think being a big club, I think they'll be able to withstand it. But it all depends on which Manchester is going to turn up on that day. So
they haven't turned up this season.
So it depends on which Manchester is going to turn up on that day. It's a big if don't look at it as if I mean Manchester is going to play ball. It's going to be they're under pressure to deliver on the field. So whatever what happens, they just have to win that game on Saturday. They just have to. They don't have any option.
Okay.
Okay, doesn't have any option. A big game also is the North London derby, Cecilia. Tottenham taking on Arsenal. I'm sure you're pumped up to talk about that one also.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Arsenal, these two sides, there's something about the two teams. I mean, you look at Tottenham, 5 games, 1 for drawing 1. Arsenal, same thing.
Yeah.
No, same point, 13, 13. Of course, the only difference is goal difference. That's how Tottenham are second and fourth. I mean, you look at the beginning of the season, Arsenal seems to be a side who have taken every blow being thrown at them. I mean, you're starting the season, you're playing Manchester United, and then you're playing Tottenham. I mean, these are big games, you know, when we know the traditional teams usually, you want to face the smaller teams first before you start facing the big guns. But Arsenal already started with what they did against Manchester United, that's coming back, winning 3-1 when you thought it was going to end 1-1. I mean, what they were able to do there tells you a whole lot about Mikel Arteta.
And
I mean, he's turning the club around.
Yeah.
So, for you, I mean, where's it going to go? Because Tottenham, I mean, second, they're just behind Manchester City because of the goals. They can score goals. They don't concede like United.
Yeah.
United has conceded about 3 goals in their last 4 games. That's not what Tottenham is all about. That's not what Arsenal
I can't remember in many years when I've seen these two teams in this form. It's always one is up, the other one is struggling, the other one is up. It's always like that. Even Arsenal used to celebrate St. Tottenham Day at a point. So I've not seen them being on equal basis at the beginning of the season. So this is trying to be an exception. Okay. So it will be very difficult to call because they are both of form. They are both you know, on the same point, and whoever wins this game goes ahead of the other. So it's going to be a tough game. I'm looking at it as that it's going to end in a draw. So that's a draw.
Another draw.
So I look at it because it's going to be very difficult to call. They are both
it's a tough call.
Yeah, Ange is doing a very wonderful. You know, the fans have accepted him. In fact, I heard something today that Arsenal fans are saying that they hate Tottenham, but they just like Ange. they just love him.
I mean, he's a fantastic coach. Austin, I mean, he's going for a draw. I mean, football can do you something that you don't know what to say at the end of the day. But this game, we know it's going to be it. And you've already mentioned that North London right now is buzzing because everyone is looking forward to this. Because both sides, they're on good form starting the season.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cecilia. I'd love to see a win. Let me drift from what Ikena wants to see. I'd love to see a win because both sides are playing so well. And I mean, Arsenal will take the chance to see what they can do, you know, in terms of mounting pressure with the guys who seem to want to be running away at the start of the season. So if they beat Tottenham, that'll be a good one. Last season, I think they did a good one over Tottenham at the Emirates Stadium. So they would like a repeat of that. And this is a big game. It's all about rivalry. So let the best team win. We'll just come here to talk about it next week. That's the show. In London, not so far away from Arsenal, by the way. I'm Austin Okonagban. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Yeah, just before we go, we mentioned yesterday that Liberia and Cape Verde will be in action. I mean, any of the team that win will be facing Super Falcons of Nigeria. But Cape Verde won that 3-0 against Liberia. There's also the return leg that they will play. Maybe Liberians will decide not to play. But it was away from home. Cape Verde were the ones hosting that. It ended 3-0. So we're building up to the Africa Women's Cup of Nations taking place next year. Ikena, I want to thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good night rest.